What is good, boys? Hope you guys had an amazing day so far. I'm going to be explaining to you guys how I lost $900 today trading in the stock market, trading the NASDAQ, obviously. So around 12 a.m., I decided to take a trade. This was a forward test. I did not take this, so let's just get that one out of there. But as you guys can see, I had a level here that was tapped. We tapped into the level, and we ended up coming back down on my stop loss. Took a loss, break even, but this one was kind of like annoying because I was expecting us to trade up into London highs. Wait, am I even looking at the right one? Let me just make sure, because this was a couple days ago, so I'm just making sure. All right, no, oh, Asia highs, sorry, yeah. So I was expecting us to trade up to Asia highs. We had an SMT. We tapped into a key zone that I deleted. But yeah, so we tapped into a key zone, and then we just ended up not taking the level. So just perfectly fine. Happens sometimes. I broke even, and I was able to like partial one contract like around this red box here. So I was able to walk away with a little bit of money, but yeah. Coming into market open or near market open, I ended up falling asleep after this. Coming into this one, we tapped into my level here, as you guys can see, 349. 349 was a really key level for this whole like week, actually. But yeah, so we tapped into it once. I missed the first trade, so I ended up taking. I FOMO'd it, which is not a part of my rule, which is a part of my rules not to do, and I ended up fucking up. So I ended up paying the price. I got an entry here, got stopped out immediately. Pretty sure I entered off of the volume profile off of this one, because I was expecting us to hold this level, and we just didn't end up holding it. So obviously, I learned to not force trades again, not again, but you guys get what I'm saying. So I ended up losing money on this one, lost 250 bucks. No, I think I lost more because I leveraged more than I usually would. I put on 3 contracts on this one, and then after that trade, I was like, all right, I'm gonna wait for another entry. So I no longer had a small buffer from the day before. I ended up completely messing that up. That's my fault. And I was overall bullish targeting these Asia highs, right? So we ended up taking out these London lows again, right here, tapping into my level again, and as you guys can see, I broke even immediately because I was already down on the day, right? I was already down on the day, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna break even as soon as possible, as soon as I can. Price ended up trading up. I was thinking about partialing, and this market open on Friday was extremely volatile. I know it's Saturday right now, but I couldn't. I had to get off. I had to get off the charts just so I didn't force another trade. So yeah. So this market opener was extremely volatile. I know it doesn't look like it, but it was going up and down sporadically a lot. We ended up coming back down to the level again. I hit my break-even point, perfectly fine. And then at that point, I was like, all right, this is a sign. I'm just not going to take a trade anymore. I'm just going to sit there and forward test. I'm going to forward test my levels and see if they work out. Yeah, so I did not take this third one. So this is what my thought process was coming into it. So we ended up coming down, taking out these New York lunch lows previous day. We tapped into the level on the 5 minute. As you can see, I usually look for 5 minute closures. So if we have a 5 minute close above a level, then to me it's valid, right? So what I did was I took my Discord. This level is still playing out. This is where I would have took my entry on this trade if I was allowed to be able to take the trade, because obviously in my head, the way I look at things is that I'm allowed a certain amount of risk per day, and if I hit that risk, I was slightly over it. I usually risk $500, but I was like 400 bucks, a little bit over. Perfectly fine. We come back into the next week with a fresh mind and we bounce back. But yeah, I usually risk $500 per day. Allows me 2 trades with 1 contract. But I did make a lot of money, so I ended up playing with a little bit more. So yeah, so I was like on my Discord on live. I told my guys, I was like, all right, guys, I would enter off of a pullback because I would see this play out multiple times. My level would get ran through sometimes like this, and then there'd be an SMT, which there was an SMT, and we would end up closing above the level and having a pullback to take an entry from off of this level right here, right? So if you took the pullback targeting Asia highs, you obviously would have hit TP within like the next 2 hours or so. Yeah. So this whole thing right now is like a learning experience for me. Not right now, but I'm just saying in general. Like every day as a trader, you should be learning new things the more and more you go, right? I noticed that this week, or towards the end of the week, I had a really good week this week, right? I'm up $14,000, but the thing is, I realized towards the end of the week I was getting way too emotional with my trades, and that's the last thing that you should be doing. Emotions is 90% of trading, right? So I realized that, and I was like, all right, like I can't be getting emotional, and me getting emotional is what caused these two losses, right? I could have, been like, all right, I'm not entering here. I'm not gonna FOMO this trade. That's emotional, right? This trade was alright. I could have partial. I did partial, but I could have partial probably at a better spot, which is above the 55 level. And then with this one, with these two right here, these were emotional trades, and this one was also kind of emotional because I was telling myself to take it. I just didn't have the balls to. Mathematically, it wouldn't have made sense to take it anyway, so I'm okay with that. But still, so that was just my whole thought process coming into the day. If you guys do take a loss, I want you guys to understand that the last thing you should do is get off the charts immediately. You should have an idea of what you want to see happen, and just watch the charts. Like just sit there and watch and see if your levels get hit, see if your targets get hit. That's the most important part. The most important part of trading is having a draw on liquidity. But yeah, so this is literally all the trades I took on Friday, and I cannot wait for market open next week because we're about to run it up again. And yeah, so I'll see you boys in the next one. If you guys have any questions, if you guys want to join my Discord, it is going to be in the description in the bio, whatever. And yeah, I live trade every day in there for free, and I also send out signals and levels to my VIP, to the people in my VIP. So if you guys want to do that, you guys can join. It's free, and it also adds a ton of value to it. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, just comment them down below or DM me on Instagram, and I'll be more than happy to answer any of you guys' text.